Hi friends, welcome to Meals with Maria. Today we are going to work with another pantry staple, your favorite tomato soup. I don't know why I say it's your favorite. Is it? It's pretty good. This is a condensed tomato soup from my local grocery store, and you know I'm buying store brand because it's basically the same thing. Good news is you can find plenty of recipes to use your tomato soup with on the Campbell's website, and you don't even have to use Campbell's soup. I mean, no shame on Campbell's. I'm sure it's fine. And there are some really good deals out there sometimes. So just buy whatever's on sale. Make sure you have a few of these in your cabinet at all time. They are a great pantry item. And you can make some amazing meals with them as kind of the base. Some simple things I did with chicken and just this and a couple other ingredients. I was shocked at how simple it was and inexpensive because this is your like major seasoning type component, and I can get these for less than $1. So that is pretty good for me. Let's check out some recipes with tomato soup. This first recipe is for barbecued beef sandwiches from the Campbell's website. These looked so good and they tasted amazing. You want to start with a tablespoon of olive oil and heat that in a 12-inch skillet over medium heat. Then you're going to add in 1 medium onion chopped and cook that until tender. I'm going to be making about half the recipe today, so you can double this if you need to. You want to stir in 1 can of condensed tomato soup, 1 tablespoon of packed brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, about a half a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and go ahead and mix all of that together. You want to bring that to a boil, reduce your heat to low, and cook for about 5 minutes. Now, I don't know if this is like a New England thing, but my husband's into like the beef sandwiches or like roast beef sandwiches. He's even on a Facebook page where all the people share all the different roast beef sandwiches that they have from different shops in the area. I've never really been into it. Like I don't really get it, but comment below if you're like, oh yeah, I know all about the roast beefs. So this was my attempt at making one at home for him, and he really liked it, and I thought it was really good too. So I'm like, maybe I do understand this. Like maybe there are different flavors, different attempts at adding a sauce. This is supposed to be kind of like a barbecue-y sauce to your roast beef and putting it on a bun and seeing what it tastes like. So once the sauce is done, you just want to add about a half a pound of roast beef to that sauce and make sure it's fully covered. This was the perfect amount for 2 sandwiches, so obviously if you want to make 4 or 6, double or triple your recipe. There was plenty of sauce here, so I mean you probably could also just add in a little bit more beef and cover it in the sauce and you would be in good shape. I personally had grabbed a package of sliced roast beef on sale, so that's kind of what spurred this idea. I was like, okay, well I found that on sale. It was a deal. I want to use tomato soup. What are we going to make? But you can look for sales on the roast beef, and you can also use leftovers. So if you had some steak left over, you could slice that up, and I think that would still taste good in this sauce. Or if you had made a roast, go ahead and slice that really thin, and that's a perfect leftover thing as well. Now, the recipe does not say to use toasted cheesy buns, but I recommend you use toasted cheesy buns. So I just had 2 buns there. I put some cheese that I had in the fridge. You can see it's just like slices from like a big block of it, which is fine either way. Toast those up under broil for just a couple minutes until that cheese melted and there was a little crust on the buns. And I'm gonna add the meat to that. And these sandwiches were absolutely fabulous. They were restaurant worthy for sure. And they were an awesome use for tomato soup. For my next recipe, I'm making a chicken and shrimp jambalaya. I'm just going to start off by dicing 1 large onion and cutting about 1.25 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts into 1-inch pieces. Heat about a tablespoon of your favorite oil in a 12-inch skillet over medium-high heat. Then we're going to add the chicken and cook it until it's well browned, stirring occasionally. Now with this recipe, it would be super easy to use boneless, skinless thighs if you find that those are less expensive, or you could use some already cooked shredded chicken, some leftover chicken, and I even think that you could use canned chicken. You're just going to want to add that later in the recipe. Once the chicken is browned, you want to add 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning, as well as your onion, and if you want to, you can actually use a medium green bell pepper diced. Now, I've talked about this so many times. My husband really dislikes pepper and does not like it in any recipe, so I don't do the pepper in mine, but I think a green pepper would taste delicious in this. And green peppers are great because they add extra vegetables and they're very inexpensive. You just want to cook this for a couple of minutes And I do want to mention that I made my own Cajun seasoning, and I will put a recipe down below for you if you don't have any on hand. It's super simple, and I didn't even really have everything, and it still tasted delicious. So, you know, as always, use what you have, make what you have. I just found a quick recipe, threw it together. Do not be discouraged if you see something like, I don't have Cajun seasoning. If you have the basics, you can pretty much make up anything, and it'll still taste delicious. After cooking for 2 minutes, add 1 can of condensed tomato soup, 1 cup of long grain white rice, and 2 cups of water. Heat to a boil, then reduce the heat to low and cook and cover for 20 minutes. During that 20 minutes, you can take a break to stop and smell the roses. In all seriousness, it was a beautiful afternoon, so it was nice to actually take a step outside while this cooked for 20 minutes. I set the timer on my phone. Everything worked out great. I know maybe you wouldn't feel comfortable leaving something on the stove while you step outside, but I knew there was plenty of water in this and everything was going to be absolutely fine, especially at a low temperature. In my opinion, the shrimp in this are totally optional. They are absolutely delicious, but I do understand that they can be expensive. I do sometimes see frozen shrimp on sale for like $5.97 a pound, and you only need a half a pound for this recipe. So it is kind of a nice way to stretch those shrimp out. I even think that you could use like a salad shrimp in this. So if I were to be using a salad shrimp and a canned chicken, I would actually add the shrimp and the chicken at this point. And then I'm just gonna mix it around a little bit, and we're gonna cook it for another 10 minutes until those shrimp are cooked through and the rice is tender. And you do wanna leave the cover off at this point. And whenever you see me awkwardly trying to use one hand and the pan like going everywhere on the stove, that's because I'm definitely holding a baby in the other hand. So it's my one-handed cooking show, guys. You know about this. Now the recipe says to use a large chopped tomato, but I didn't have a fresh tomato, so I just used a can of drained diced tomatoes. And same thing for parsley. It says a tablespoon of fresh parsley. I'm just using dried parsley. Both those things are super inexpensive and they turned out absolutely fine in this dish. It tasted amazing. This dish was a huge win, and you can't believe that it starts with tomato soup. It's unbelievable. So simple. I kind of liked that 20-minute period where it was like set it and forget it kind of thing. I got to go do something else in the meantime. And when I came back, I had a delicious, delicious dinner. I served this with a homemade cornbread. I used the Marie Callender's recipe, which I will pop in the description box below. This was my favorite cornbread that I have ever made. It was so delicious, so make sure to check that out. What do you think, buddy?
100.
Good?
I give the cornbread a 4.
This last recipe is so simple and so delicious and versatile, and I'm adding it to my rotation for sure. This is called chicken Tinga filling, and you can make it with a flatbread, like pizza type thing, or you can make it in a taco. That's what I did. There's so many different options, so that's why I absolutely love it. You want to start with a tablespoon of vegetable oil or whatever your favorite oil is in a skillet over medium-high heat. Very similar to all of the other recipes. Must be something about tomato soup that's like that. The recipe says to use 2 cups of chopped onion. I'm gonna make about half the recipe, and I just had like half an onion left around, so that's what I used. It was probably less than a cup of onion, but still tasted good. As always, if you don't have an onion like this, you can use like scallions or you can use onion powder, and I think that would taste great in a recipe like this. Cook the onions for a couple of minutes, and then you want to add in about a pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast tenders. Add in a 1/4 cup of water, 1 can of condensed tomato soup, and then 2 canned chipotle peppers in adobo. And mine were frozen, so I defrosted them, and then I did not go about it in a very fancy, reasonable way. I just like chopped them up kind of in the container that I defrosted them in with a chef knife, which is ridiculous, but it worked and everything tasted great. So it was just in the essence of time. I was like running somewhere and I'm like, I need to get this done. You know, you comment below if you have some ridiculous things that you've done that you did in a rush when you were trying to cook. You want to let this cook for 15 minutes until your chicken is done, and then you just want to take 2 forks and shred it up, and it shreds up perfectly. And if you can remember, this was very simple. We're just adding tomato soup, water, and chipotle in adobo. You can add some salt and pepper to this to season it to your taste, and that is it. This is phenomenal, like such an easy, phenomenal filling. You can just buy whatever chicken you got on sale. I mean, I'm using chicken tenders, but you could definitely use some sliced up breasts or some boneless, skinless thighs. Shred those up, but this sauce, the flavor is absolutely amazing. So at first I thought I was going to serve these on flatbreads. I was going to a friend's house, and then I changed my mind last minute and decided to do tacos, but I still made the lime crema that goes with the flatbreads and then put that on the tacos. So you just need 2/3 a cup of sour cream, or actually used Greek yogurt in my case because that's what I had in the fridge, a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, and 1 teaspoon of lime juice. And you can just mix that together, or if you have like a fresh lime, you can use actually a teaspoon of grated lime zest. Either one will work great. This was the perfect little cream to put over my tacos, and everybody absolutely loved these. I toasted up some corn tortillas on the stove, added my chicken tinga filling, then some queso fresco, my crema, some cilantro and red onion, but really you can add whatever you like on your tacos to these because they were absolutely fantastic and such an easy filling. I would try this filling with flatbread next time too. That looks amazing, and you could probably just put it over rice and it would be good as well. I want to thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you guys all had a great time and got some good ideas to use your tomato soup with. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and go ahead and click on this next video if you like working with pantry staples, because we're working with rice-a-roni, and I think these recipes are something you'll enjoy.